Hello.
You've just taken all of my limelight. That's the first time ever I haven't had to freaking open up and say hello.
How good's that? Hey, George, have you ever eaten clag before?
Well, now that you've said it, it's like a lollipop on crack.
There's one you prepared earlier.
Yeah, but it doesn't smell.
It doesn't smell right.
No, doesn't have that pungent flavour. What's going on?
Nothing. Same as yesterday and the day before and every other day. Nothing.
Yeah, no, it's terrible, isn't it?
Yeah.
But we've got so much. Actually, we've got a lot to talk about tonight.
Awesome.
So that's why we're going to have to bring Rhiannon in because we've got nothing.
Oh, should I bring her in now?
Bring her in now. I want to say hello to everyone that's already watching. Hope you guys are all well. Hello, Julie. If you can, make sure you share share the show, I guess, because we've got a lot to talk about towards the end. Oh, hello, Sav. Because I've got work stuff to talk about, which is always exciting, just about what we've got coming up and what we're going to be doing show-wise as well. So It's going to be pretty awesome. But that's after.
All right. So I'll bring Rhiannon in then now. So she's got a few questions for us, hasn't she?
She's got a couple of really cool topics that she thought of because we're both useless.
Well, is she ready or is she dancing in the waiting room?
Yeah, she's dancing in the waiting room. Hello, Rhi.
Hello.
I was going to say, everyone, this is Rhiannon from the Oz Music Project.
I'm here.
What's happening?
A few big things have happened industry-wise this week, but personally, not much. Life's a bit lonely. Anyways, what shall we start with today? Shall we start with the lovely Tina Arena situation, or should we start with the grand final situation?
Well, I have no idea.
I want to start with the fact, why are you so angry today?
I'm not angry.
Yes, you are. You came onto our Zoom meeting in such a foul freaking mood, swearing and yelling at it.
No, I was mad at my computer because my computer was being an asshole. Not at anyone else, just my computer.
Yeah, well, we copped the brunt of it.
No, you heard the brunt of it. You didn't cop the brunt of it.
For about 2 minutes.
Great time in there.
There, it's a personal dance party.
Well,
hello, Max. Hello, Ange. Hello, Julie. Hello, Sue. Hello, Seth.
Hello, Lisa. Hello, everyone.
Hello, Lisa.
We are talking about Tina Arena because I don't know what you're talking about. So can you?
Alrighty. So last week, Tina Arena appeared on I think it was like Studio 10 or something like that, and she basically had the politest "fuck you" statement.
This is a children's show. Oh my no! You can't swear.
Oh, that's what it was. There's no other words for it.
You're meant to be a lady.
F you.
I'm not a lady. Have you met me? But she basically cracked it with everyone, the government, people who say they support artists and then leave us in the dust when shit hits the fan. Sorry, I shouldn't swear. She full went off at everyone, and it was awesome. Why are you laughing at me, Ty?
I'm laughing at George. It's all right.
Okay.
Yeah.
I was trying to find change. I'll draw a swear jar or something. I'm going to make a fortune.
I'm not your kid.
No. Hello, Rose. Hello, Rose, and hello, Belinda, and Jana, and Shona, and Max. Yeah. All right. So what else happened?
All right. So she opened. It's hard because you two haven't seen the interview. She started very honest. She basically said, I've had enough. Everyone I know's had enough. We're all tired of this. We're all sick of everything that's going on. She brought up the wonderful example of events like Firefight, where artists, musos, techs, security, catering and all that stepped up, did all this work for no pay. And then we helped the community. We helped lift spirits up and all of that jazz. And then she said, now that we're struggling, now that the music industry is at a really low point, everyone's kind of swept us under the rug and conveniently forgotten about us and how wrong it is.
But is that because we're basically, as musicians and all of that we're the ones that actually do that stuff and lift everyone up? And name me another industry anywhere that does what the music industry does.
Can't.
Unless it's another art-based industry, there isn't one.
Well, you're going to have interpretive dancers get up on stage and entertain people. I'm a tree.
They're very... Look, anyone...
Hey, trees can be pretty entertaining, you know.
If
I've got a branch.
If art didn't exist...
You want to see my stump?
That's disgusting. You come up at me for swearing and then you say garbage like that.
What are we talking about? We're talking about wood.
Trees.
I'm not drunk enough for this.
Sorry, hold on. Before you keep going, hold on. Julianne Perry says she wanted to know why the music industry was left out and not supported in COVID. That's correct. And
yes.
Hello, Melina.
Well, if anyone can answer that question, that'd be very interesting because we can't. No one can.
No one can. And it happens time and time again. Any time where there's this massive industry, for lack of better words, collapse, it's always the arts industry that's kind of the last to be picked up, even though we're the first ones to get our hands dirty and support the rest of the community.
But that's because we're an arts industry. And that's why I said you can throw it onto the other side. But what is there on the other side that's going to entertain you?
Nothing.
That's what I'm saying. So the government never stepped in to help any of the firefighters or anything like that. So it came back down to the music industry. So it's the same thing. The government's not going to support the arts thing because
is it the same in the film industry as well? Because that's an art form as well.
Well, as I've pointed out to a few people and as people have been forcefully reminded over last year and this year with lockdowns, the hell?
I'm a moose.
Okay.
What's happened?
George has lost his brain. But while in lockdown, people wouldn't cope if there wasn't TV, movies, radio, podcasts, YouTube, video games,
Netflix,
board
Disney,
games,
all that stuff.
Sorry, I'm going to stop you there.
Are you?
As a child, we did cope, and we probably had more fun outside, getting our knees dirty and eating dirt, than what we did watching all the shit that's on TV at the moment.
You can't even go out and eat dirt anymore because it's against the rules.
We can't go outside anymore. So in lockdown and in lockdown circumstances, we wouldn't be as mentally sane as we are if it wasn't for the arts community. So I think it's disgusting that we've been left behind the way we have.
Yes, George.
Yes, George.
I've been in no way mentally sane for a very long time. I just thought I'd better clarify that point.
Anyone that's not mentally sane, raise your hands. Is that your tree pose?
My moose knuckle pose.
Oh, my God.
Hello,
so,
Rick.
Yeah. Actually, all right. So while we've done that, let's everyone ponder. Actually, can everyone send us their comments on what they thought about, what they think about the whole arts industry and everything like that, and who else, apart from the music industry, can help support, or who can help support the music industry? That's what I want to know. While we're doing that, let's go to our first song. How about that?
Yeah, okay. Which one? We've got two. Rhiannon?
Whichever one you want to play. Either's okay.
Well, I'm going to play Among the Restless because it's going to have our faces on it.
Wait, Mom, before you check out.
Oh, wait. There's even
Do you have Honey installed?
What's Honey?
There's even a.
I love
It's
this
a free
song.
browser add-on.
Anytime you check out on your computer, it will search the internet, and if it finds a
What an
coupon
awesome
code, it will
tune.
apply.
Go away.
Jesus is our Savior, but He's never seemed to grace me. Conversations to get what I want. The way that I talk is that gift that I flaunt. The best things in life are free. Now I'm gone. Still lying, never fighting. Now I'm addicted to myself. I'm sick and tired of always fighting. Maybe I belong in hell. Your love is impure, but I can't help enjoy losing you right over me. Here's my resignation. I need salvation. Losing one just set me free. Losing one just set me
Oh god.
Wow.
So what you think?
George's dancing was amazing.
Beautiful.
No, the song was
I like
actually
that.
really cool. Yeah.
So they're among the Restless. That's their latest single, Lucy. They're a bit of a. They're more of an indie rock band than an alt rock band, but they do have a bit of a bluesy influence throughout all of their work, which is really cool.
Well, there's a comment from Rick saying top song, very Black Velvet.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. I agree with
I
that.
said to you before, and actually that first riff, me, they'd jam all the time, and that's one of sounded like the start of the jam that he always does.
Yeah.
That's grass. That's why it's very bluesy. I like that.
Good
One of
friends
the things I
great band, George Kikis. There you go. Awesome. Yeah, go on, Rhiannon.
Alan Cartwright.
one of the things I really like about this band is their use of distortion. A lot of rock bands that try to stay in that genre of rock overkill the distortion, and they tend to sound more like a punk band or like a garage rock band than just a rock band. but these guys have kind of used it as like a little bit of a garnish to their music instead of the like driving force behind their riffs.
Is that like a storage shed band instead?
Maybe. Maybe.
Yes, now there's an idea.
It is, isn't it? I don't know where I came up with that from. I'm just going to go back off that, but yeah, that was good. I'm just going to go back off what we were talking about before. A few comments have come through. Belinda Webb music industry and any small businesses are always raising hands for others. True. Really disappointing the lack of support from the powers that be during all of this. More true.
Where's that going?
Good, Belinda Webb. Good to remember. Elections on soon doesn't make a difference. Sorry.
Yeah, no, it
being an election, whether you're Labor, Liberal, Green or Blue or Purple, it's not going to make any form of difference.
Batman. I always vote for Batman when I go.
Do I vote for the donkey?
Do you?
Yeah, I vote for a donkey. Do you know what a donkey vote is?
Yeah, it's the same as Batman. Might be Superman next year.
Yeah.
Melena says, agree with Belinda, entertainment industry is always there to support with concerts in times of need, but totally neglected during the lockdown.
100%.
I agree with that, totally. And you watch how many festivals and things they're going to try and put on and get artists to play for almost next to nothing to support.
Yeah.
You know, like even St Kilda Festival and that, I reckon it's going to be quite detrimental to the bands, but they're going to want to put it on to get people's mental health back up.
Yep.
Yeah, but I also think, I look at the stupid light. What was that thing that they've just done recently where, oh, God, she does my head in. What's her name? Delta Goodrem played and Elton John and all them.
Yep.
They all got paid.
Yep. So all of those kind of artists will get paid, but they'll ask like smaller artists, like bands like Among the Restless, etc., to work for nothing. And they ask the techs to work for nothing. They ask people to pay massive entry fees, and the people who need to be paid aren't paid. It's disgusting.
Well, it's not even just about the bands anymore. It's about the people that set up the events. It's about all the security. It's about all everyone that's involved in the events, all the engineers and the techs and everything.
Yeah,
that's where the detriment is, and I can understand why the government never could. It would have been very hard to police because everyone would have been putting their hands out unnecessarily. But there should be a way that musicians, whether they've got their own personal ABN numbers or whether they've got their own side of things that can basically dictate to say, hey, I'm a full-time working musician. I don't have another job. This is what my livelihood is, or I'm a full-time tech, or I'm a full-time theatre person. I was going to say nerd, or a full-time theatre person.
Rude.
But how do they go about basically getting any of this money through to these people in a legitimate way?
We technically are eligible for it as a tech who's trying to jump through all of these hurdles currently. Myself and a few others, they make it impossible for artists to claim it, for artists to like speak out and say, hey, I apply under this umbrella. When I first applied for JobKeeper under my ABN, the person on the Centrelink phone call labelled me as a prostitute when I said I work live entertainment as a audio-visual technician.
What?
That's
how does that make sense?
That's what I want to know. But myself and several other techs had the same kind of umbrella term. If you get put under like live entertainment, some of the people don't understand what that is, even if you explain it in detail.
Yes, George.
We're sex workers.
You probably have more luck with Centrelink if you were. Which is
100%.
sad.
Yeah, but like we're getting mislabeled as what we do for a career constantly, and because it doesn't match up to our like tax returns or our ABN, we automatically become disqualified for any payment or any relief.
So on a positive note then, if you think about it, we've only got a few, let's hope, all right, knock on wood, worst case scenario is we've got 2 more months before everyone can start getting back into it. And hopefully for good. Like I said, I've always said this, that I watch a lot of what the Americans do and watch a lot of what the Europeans do. And for the Americans to have 75,000 people plus at an NFL game, plus they've got live entertainment there and they've got DJs and they've got marching bands and no one's wearing a mask and jumping around like idiots. The Formula One's the same thing. They're always trying to put live artists on or DJs on or whatever the case is. That's what we've got to look forward to. So it isn't too far away. And I think that will eventually we've got to get back to normal.
Well, going off all those live events and stuff, what about the grand final? What'd you think of that?
On the D's.
Where do I begin? Why are we whoever the event manager is for these kind of like massive events, why do they always turn to artists who are not currently relevant in the industry, artists who haven't released or performed live in several years? Why are we always rinsing and repeating the same fucking songs? Australian music, like the industry is bigger than In Excess, Icehouse, AC/DC, Good Germ, Sebastian. Like we're bigger than all of those artists that we seem to rinse and repeat every time we do a grand final, every time we do a charity gig.
It's because they're known. Simple as that. It's because they're well known. That's why it's going to get the people in. It's going to get the numbers up.
The people are already going to be there, especially for an event like grand final. The people are already there because it's sport.
But the people that are listening to, or the people that are there watching sport, okay, and you're talking probably 95% of them will listen to your commercial radio stations, will listen to your deltas and listen to your betas and listen to your alphas. And that's what, listen, I put credit to them that they actually played
Aussie music,
Aussie bands, and that to me is bigger than being. But you listen. You're all joking aside, right? You're playing a band. Excuse me, COVID. You listen to. You go. I know it was pretty frightening, wasn't it? You go and play different. I mean, I played the cover band circuit, right? You play different venues, and different venues stipulates different music. Mm-hmm. You go and play at a place like Musicland and you will play a particular kind of music, okay? Yep. You go to a footy club and your bogan set comes out.
Look, I understand that. I'm not saying anything against that, but it seems with every large-scale event we televise, we publicise, it's rinse and repeat of the same 10 artists, the same 10 songs. And I get it's familiar, and I get that people, like, that's what the bogans know and love, and they can sing to it and all that jazz.
Who was the last number one Aussie hit? Who had the last number one Aussie hit that was played rinse and repeat on radio?
Probably Paul Kelly.
Yeah.
No, Guy Sebastian.
Oh, was it?
Really?
Yep. Yeah, I can tell you that. That was played top. So, sorry, I've got a few comments at home, but I'm going to ask everyone at home, who is the last Aussie band, for people who listen to most of the top 40 stuff, who is the last Aussie artist that was rinse and repeat on commercial radio? Because that's what you're going for, is commercial radio. We're not going independent.
I'd argue Tones and I is more rinse and repeat than Guy Sebastian at the moment.
Yeah, but do you reckon Tones and I couldn't get over there because all the bands that they had over there were all based in Perth. They're all Perth-based bands.
Actually, fair enough.
I'm curious.
But why aren't they playing their own songs? You had Eskimo Joe there. They played one of their songs and then covers of the rest.
Because people know them.
Yeah, and because they've only got one hit.
I've got a question for everyone out there that's watching. How many people watch or listen to the radio anymore? I'm just curious, because I don't listen to the radio.
Occasionally.
I listen to digital radio, and it's stuff that you hate, Tyrone.
Yeah, no, well, that's fair. No, but I'm very interested, because I mean, what's stopping these big radio stations having, like, even turning around and having like a competition and saying, for example, we want to find the next band that's going to play at the grand final. You've got all year to get your music in, and they put it back to their listeners to vote for that, because that's a really good way to get new music heard.
So how come they didn't give it? I was going to say, how come they didn't give it to that band that wrote that song for Tip and Woody, all the footy stuff that was running through Triple M all the time, and they were a cool punk band.
They were. There are so many artists, and like there's so many artists based, especially in Perth, that would have put on, in my opinion, a much better show and been much better entertainment.
But then you would have always had someone to turn around and say, "Hey, no, that was shit."
Oh, obviously, like it's subject to opinion.
Yep.
I think it's actually the big guys at the very top going, what's going to make us the most money the quickest, and that's all they do.
And that is the problem with this industry.
Well, you look at last year, they had Wolf Mother.
Shit. Anyways, continue.
Wolf Mother was mined. They're musicians, and I can't say who the musician. I can't tell you who the musicians were, but the musicians that actually pre-recorded all of that. They played it live in Melbourne and simulcast it across there, and the guys from Wolf Mother in the Wolf Mother band actually mimed it.
That happens more often than you think.
Wasn't it raining last year?
No, it was in Brisbane.
No, here. And they had bands playing here, didn't they?
No, they had.
Oh, anyway.
What's his name? Brady singing the song in the middle of the thing up there, Kazali.
Oh, yeah. Well, anyway.
But no, like lip syncing happens more than you think. You look at The Voice, you look at Australia's Got Talent, all of them are getting their artists to lip sync, especially in the grand finals. It happens everywhere. Like, that's just apparently industry standard now.
Oh, sorry, I just saw the comment from Faye. What happened to my face?
Yeah.
What's wrong with my face? What's wrong with my face?
Oh, you look bruised.
Yeah, it looks like you got,
Yeah.
Yeah. You busted pimples.
It's just the way that the camera is.
Late to the party, but Gyroscope would have been a best bet or after the fall. That's from Adrian Brennan. This is for the grand final. Faye Georges, hello. Oh, hello.
Gyroscope are cool. Gyroscope are a really cool band. No one knows them. And I'd say that those guys are on a very similar level to, like, for example, Kingswood, even like, what's that band that we had? The Casanovas and stuff like that. They're probably around the same kind of par as them. But then they're never looked at for even this big stuff.
No, they're not. And my question is why?
Why? Because they're not commercially viable enough. They don't. No one for them to go there. It's like, all right, we're gonna throw both ends of the spectrum out, right? You've got the covers market, and you've got the original music market. Okay, you'll get 100 people go to a covers gig, and they'll know all the words to all the songs, and they'll do all of that. And I'm not being harsh or anything, but you go to a covers gig, and I love original music. That's why we started the Oz Music Project. You go to an originals gig, and basically everyone's standing there doing this.
It's a different environment.
Brought out of their brain. It's a different environment. And you can't expect. So basically, it's a party atmosphere. You listen. I mean, what shit me with the whole AFL this year, and you can take it whatever way you want. During every ad break, very rarely did they ever play Aussie music in general. Through the ad breaks, it was all Deep Purple, whatever it was. That was the last one that I heard. So why don't they, as an Aussie football or AFL, actually play Aussie music during the ad breaks? Or Channel 7 play Aussie music during the ad breaks? Because it's not what catches people's attention. It's all attention grabbing. It's advertising. Yeah. That's all it is.
And it goes back to what people know.
Yeah. And the reason that they play these bands with cover songs and all that is to keep audience retention. We see it here. I'm not being funny or anything, I'll tell everyone our numbers at home. Whenever we play a lot of music, we lose a few people. And it's the same sort of principle with TV. The moment the footy or anyone puts on bands that they don't know, they lose audience, which then they lose advertising money and all that. We don't get advertising money, so we like people to stick around and listen to really cool Aussie music and learn some stuff.
And buy some drinks, We've got a couple of comments we got to get back to. Darren Spiteri, it's for the simpletons, that's why. Yeah. That's what he says. It's because they're so loved and well known, which makes sense. Wayne Dallas says grand final entertainment was shit.
I wouldn't go that far.
That's what he said.
It was passable. It sounded more like a recital than a performance to hype up people.
Yeah, Rocker Stedford.
It's all about the acoustics at massive venues. The sound coming back to the artist in a football stadium would make it a nightmare for the singer to hear where they're at.
I call bull. We have in-ears and things in place now that make it so much easier to mix in larger venues.
And they spent $15 million on speakers in that joint, and I know that because all the speakers and everything came from Melbourne, and they are this
Primo.
big. So they're only little speakers, and I think it was all Nexo possibly, and they were all theatre. And
sounds right.
Yeah.
yeah, they're all theatre speakers. They're $2,500 a speaker, and they're all separated by one. They're all separated by 2.5 or 3 meters. I know this because I spoke to the guy that actually did it.
Yes.
I was just going to say I agree with what Rhiannon was saying too. There's like the way that they combat that kind of stuff with in-ears and all that kind of thing. I don't think there's an excuse for the musos not to be able to hear what they're doing, and plus they should know that stuff.
It's also just become like we've become lazy to a degree, and someone will probably throw out the whole "it's because of COVID" yada 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 garbage. They had in-ears in. They were apparently singing live into a microphone. At the end of the day, it would have been someone just not wanting to do their full workload and saying, let's just pre-record it and get you to lip sync. I'm 90% sure that performance for the grand final was lip synced.
So,
but sorry, go on.
No, go for it. Go for it.
No, I was going to say, have you ever noticed, you do realise, because when they call microphone craft, most people who lip sync and you go to all these big artists, they've always, even though they're in a studio environment, what do they call the God, I've gone blank now. What do they call the dinger that they put on top of the microphone?
The
windsock.
A windsock. Have you always called it a dinger? They always the windsock that they always stick over the top of it is always excessively large.
Yes.
They're the ones that are miming, and you'll always see their mouths over like this, and even when they talk, they do this.
Yes. The largeness
Two
of the
microphones.
windsock. The microphones still work as normal. It's just to get rid of like the wind in outdoor gigs. But yes.
No, I'm saying that they use it to cover their mouths.
Yes. Yes.
But
they do.
exactly.
Like, it's still a fully functional microphone.
Yeah, because you hear them while they're singing, la, 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 yeah, all right, yeah, put your hand, yay. That's their voice, and then they go back to singing. Yeah.
They play Dropkick Murphys, which is a kick-ass, but not Australian. At least it's not mainstream crap. Well, that's a good point, but still, it's not Australian.
I like that.
Some people don't go for the football, as stupid as it sounds, so they have to. They have well-known music to entertain them.
No, it's a grand final. Most people that actually know, she's correct, because 50% of the tickets that are sold there are sold to corporate people. Just say, oh my God, I went to the grand final.
She's back.
Again.
She's back. She was around for a while today. Looking at
She was.
looking at ring lights.
Oh my God, I needed to ring up J-Bell Hi-Fi and say, I need to tell Fitz taking a ring light, just made my child thing. I've got like 25 subscribers on my Instagram channel. I'm like famous. Do you have a ring light? I'm going to ring them up tomorrow and do that.
Can you please record their reaction?
Yeah.
No, all I'm saying by bringing up the grand final is what's wrong with having one artist there who's not as well known?
Because those artists tend to step on my toes, and I just need them in their own space.
But like you've got artists like Ocean Alley, the Pierce Brothers, Wolf and Cub. There's like heaps of artists that have like a couple of 100,000 following across social media, and they are quite well known like across Australia and even internationally. What's wrong with getting one of those artists who are slightly smaller than like the Eskimo Joes and the Deltas and the Whatnots?
Yes, George.
Like, what's wrong with putting one of them on?
I've never heard of them.
That's because you're old.
Oh, it's got nothing to do with the fact that I'm old. And I'm not that old. Go to your room.
Teskey Brothers, another good one.
There, George Gecker says it's a hard, slow burn before original artists become popular.
I've heard of the Teskey Brothers. Shut up.
No, but he's right. It is a hard, slow burn. But
like,
the whole thing is, how do they become popular if they're not being allowed to?
All right. but I'm going to prove a point too. I'm sorry, but I love AFL, whatever it is. AFL's entertainment for the last, I don't know how many years it's been, probably about 92 years has been shit.
Mm-hmm.
You look at the NRL, and the NRL have adopted the American method. So the NRL last year or the year before, the year before, they bought in Colt Chisel. They spent the money, even though they don't have the audience, spent the money and bought in Colt Chisel. That was an unbelievable gig, and they bought in another band as well prior to them, a young band that played covers. But
they do things so differently as well, though. I mean, they have fireworks and cheerleaders and all sorts of things that the AFL doesn't have.
Who? The NRL?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're talking the rugby.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which makes it such a different ballgame.
Yeah, here you go. Adrian Brennan. How would it look with Birds of Tokyo boring the crap out of us, but having Parkway Drive blow the stands apart? Correct. See,
Parkway Drive, though, being metalcore isn't marketable to like the mass audience. That's the issue with someone like Parkway, because they are on that alternative side of the coin. But like, what's wrong with getting, say, Teskey Brothers there? What I've noticed when I'm working with artists myself, the younger the band or the fresher the band, they tend to have more drive, so they're putting more energy into their performances, and it actually is a better performance to watch than your cover or your tribute band who might have been doing it for X amount of years. I find the younger bands pull a lot more of their own energy and their own drive into their own performances, because that's how they get known. Does that make sense?
They do. Yeah, they do. I'll completely agree with that, but still no one knows who they are. That's where the problem is. No one's willing. A lot of people are all set in their ways with what they listen to, how they do things, and all of that sort of stuff. We were talking about me being old.
Yes.
I wouldn't know 3/4 of the crap. Like when you were talking to us about Periscope and Dick Sword and all these other famous, wonderful things, right? I've never heard of any of this crap, and people are telling me this person's got 500,000 people watching them play a freaking video game.
Yeah.
You've got 1 million people watching some Aussie play a video game, or another 1 million people watching some woman sit in her chair listening to a computer tell her dirty jokes off a chat, right? And that's entertaining. They'd be more inclined to do that because, I'm sorry, your generation is so...
Well, what
just
so weird.
No, it's not weird. You know what it is? The attention span of your generation is non-existent.
Well,
that is 100% correct.
They say now that if you don't catch someone's attention in the first 3 seconds, you've lost them.
Yeah.
So
100%.
Oh, look.
And that's why that's why all these TikToks and all that kind of stuff are very good, because they only last a few seconds and then you're on to the next one.
Yeah.
And it promotes mindless scrolling. So I mean that's why that works. But coming back to the music and stuff, unless you capture someone's attention in 3 seconds, they'd rather go and watch someone playing a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you're going to take that even with sport now. Even with sport, the esports market, so the electronic sports market is actually bigger and more of a money generator than any other form of sport except for NFL and NBL. They still top the thing, but after that, it's actually esports. There's for you to go out and buy an esports team in particular thing is close to $20 million.
Wow.
Yeah, there's massive money in esports.
Wow.
And virtual reality and stuff.
Just going back over some of the comments. Rick says it's all TV
Please.
ratings.
Yes.
Yep.
Unfortunately.
Which I agree with that totally. Melania says, I'm just pleased it was Aussie music and not someone like Meatloaf again.
Yep.
That's another good
Look,
comment.
I applaud them for playing Aussie music. It's just you've got artists there that have decent songs of their own. Why weren't they allowed to play more of them?
She just said Meatloaf.
Darren says, because they would all bitch about it, why did they get the gig? We're better than them. Who did they know? that's how it is in the music business. Sorry, just putting it out
It
there.
is.
Been in the business for 40 years, so I've been around long enough to know. Thanks. Love your show. And thanks, Darren.
Awesome. Thanks, Dash.
He makes a good point too. It's who you know, not what you know.
Yeah.
But that's been like that for years.
Yeah. And unfortunately, you need bands who are more popular than Triple J, but not high rotation for Fox FM, like Kiss Chaser used to be in the mid-2000s.
Yep, I'd agree with that too. But even Triple J now has completely changed, and it's all what do they call it? Sort of music.
Crap.
Depends on the show you listen to. Any show from like 9 o'clock till about 8 o'clock at night is going to be that like poppy doofy.
But that just goes to show you that's main time that people are listening to the radio.
Yeah.
Drive time and all that. That's where the ratings are.
Yeah.
So that's So I mean, it's all changing. It's because your attention span, your age group's attention span is
non-existent. But I'm well aware that my attention span's not there.
No, it's not you.
Oh no, I'm well aware that I add to those figures.
Just your generation.
Last week's live stream, George reaching to his camera distracted me. Like that's obvious. Like that's answer enough for you.
Well, I'm curious as well. For people out there, would they rather go out to a venue to watch music, or would they rather sit in their lounge room watching someone play games because they know they're going to get a laugh?
Wrong generation to ask.
I know, but I'm still putting it out there because some people might have some comments on that.
I'd play video games at home, but I'd still rather go out.
Well, yeah. So,
but I'm like first generation Atari and PlayStation. Sorry, an Atari was a video game console that we had when we were little.
I've played on an Atari before. I also had a Game Boy
joystick and used to go to the local milk bar with your $2 and put your $2 in and play Street Fighter.
Yep.
Commodore 64.
Commodore 64 came back. Sorry, that's a safe comment for sure.
Yeah, it was. Yeah. Live music hands down, out to a venue. Yep. So I'm the same, but it's not for like what George was saying, for the new generation or for the younger generation. They wouldn't. I don't think they would.
But all right, I'm going to throw this out to you. So, and I've made this comment a few times. We've had in the venue, we've had the 60s, we've had the 70s. Mm-hmm. We're now up to the 80s.
Yeah.
Right. So at the moment we're teetering 70s and 80s, and then comes the 90s. What's after the 90s?
Depending on where you look.
2000s.
What's after the 90s? Yep.
Noughties.
Good question.
That's my question. Is where is the music going to go? Once, not my age bracket, because I was more of a 90s, late 80s, early 90s sort of child, but I'm 42, and I'll be still going out till I'm, say 65, call it, and then the blanket's going to go over my legs, and I'll be shit. No, I'll probably be older than that, but my dad still goes out, my grandfather. But what I'm saying is that most of the general population that are out there, my age group, what is after that? What's after in another 10 years or 15 years in the live music industry? What are people going to be going out to listen to?
There's a lot of young musos, which is good. That's a really good thing for the industry. But there's not a lot of young support for those people. So unless they love playing musical instruments or anything like that, they're not going to go out. They're going to want to sit home and watch these TikToks and all that kind of rubbish.
See, not necessarily, and it could just be like the circles I run in, but a lot more of like my generation and younger do go out a fair bit. So like, I don't think it's lack of support. I think it's like venue struggles that the younger bands are having, because younger bands can't fill out a venue. And when you can't fill out a venue, the venue doesn't like it because they aren't having people buying booze and whatnot. So I think that's more of an issue for the young bands at the moment than anything else.
But hold on, we tried it with your generation, right? We were playing covers at a gig, okay? And it was a particular bar, I'm not going to mention names, but we realised that everyone that was in there was between, I think, the age of, call it 18 to 25 or 18 to 26. And we were playing normal, general, dancey sort of cover songs. We weren't anything spectacular, whatever the case was. We thought we'll try something. So we played Deep Purple, Smoke on the Water.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I played at halftime. The guitarist played it in one key. The bass player played it in another key, and the singer sung it in another key.
Perfect.
Three people turned around. And
Really?
the whole audience, 3 people turned around, and they all pissed themselves laughing because they were all musos. And they realised what we'd done, and we realised that no one was listening.
Wow.
It was the most fun gig we ever had, but that was completely out of the ballpark of what our set was. But so again, it goes back to that's where the problem is. A lot of these kids will go to these gigs, but they don't truly listen and appreciate properly what the music is. Look at Stone Trip, right? Great band, really. Like I love Stone Trip, and when they played at ours. But now I look at the at the people that actually follow them around are within their age bracket. They don't have any young kids following them around. They don't have any of that following them around. But they've got a decent core base. My problem is now that all these young kids and young bands that are coming through, all their audience is now tied up online. And it forever will be. To get these young kids to go out and actually go for a drink at the pub, go have a meal at a pub and do all of that is a lot harder because they'd rather be in their bedroom playing video games and having the music on one side, video game on this side, TV in the middle, and a box of tissues on the other side. That's what that I'm just being realistic. That's what
That's
what
true.
the upcoming generation is.
But it's also.
I
Sorry, go on.
Go ahead.
No, go.
I think it's more just how young Australians are consuming music, because if you look at the younger bands going around Europe, the younger bands from the States, they are getting support from the age bracket that they're in. So why are Australian listeners different?
Different country.
Yeah,
Completely
and
different
less
country.
population.
Why do you think people go overseas to make it? You know, like a lot of bands go over to the States to try and get over there. There you go, Brad from Massive. Did it.
And he pinned it on he hit the nail on the head with it. He goes, the Australian music industry is one of the most toxic he's ever seen. That was one comment I think that he made. And the other one was the population factor. We don't have a population or a big enough population in order to suffice having all these gigs and all these venues and that. If we had more people going out, we'd have a lot more venues.
Yep.
You have a lot more venues, you have a better music scene. You have a better music scene, well, you get better music, more people get noticed, you've got better radio, and then the musicians can actually dictate what's going to be played, because that's what people are going out to listen to. At the moment, no one's going out to listen to these original artists, so all the other music and everything that's been brought up is dictated by obviously what's online and what's on that, who's getting the most streams, who's got the biggest internet following, who's got the biggest of whatever it is. It's one of the hard, I don't know.
And I think it's also across different genres as well. Like I think I said to George the other day, why do they keep repeating these songs when they do like remixes and all that kind of stuff? It's because people know the songs, and because people can, they hear it and they go, oh, it's that song, and then they want to listen to it. That's why artists keep reusing, keep recycling and stuff. And it's like, even the DJ scene, DJs use other people's music because they know that people know it and they'll dance to it and they'll like it and they'll enjoy their night.
Because their parents listen to it, so it's automatically ingrained in the back of their head.
Yeah,
and they'll
because if you had parents like mine, you can only listen to what I want to listen to. You
it's
grow
like,
up with it.
how many people have done like a cover of Africa, for example, right? And everyone knows that song, so everyone goes, oh, no matter who does it, it's like, oh, that's cool. Even when George shows the flute version of it, it's cool because it's Africa.
I was going to say
It's
shitty
Africa.
flute.
Right? But the fact is, if someone did a cover of a song that no one knew or didn't have much traction, no one's going to care either. So it's really hard across all genres is what I'm trying to get at.
I'm interested to see how the younger bands go post-lockdown, because everyone's sick of being cooped up inside. So I'd like to see how crowds go when we open back up again.
Well, yeah, that's another thing too. It's the whole COVID thing's a different conversation, though. Hey, George, did you want to go through some of the comments there?
Yeah, I
There's
will.
quite a few there, yeah.
So, oh God, here we go. So, where are we up to? Punk rock became emotional instead, sad instead of being a party. Yes, I'll sort of semi-agree with that. Nice work. Our kids, from Melina, our kids and their friends prefer to go to clubs and bars and watch DJs spinning tracks. True. Adrian Brennan, we used to have this little show run by a bloke in a cowboy hat who could make an Aussie band a household name. We need a modern day version. Of Molly and a TikTok version of Countdown to promote Aussie bands to this group of young kids. That's what Rhiannon's for.
Yes.
With the Oz Music
I'm
Project.
doing that. I'm doing it now.
She's doing that.
And she's even on TikTok.
And she's even on TikTok, and she's got a Spotify channel, and she reviews albums and does all of that.
Maybe you just need a funny cowboy hat.
I will invest in one.
George Gigas around Brunswick, Collingwood, Fitzroy has a good original scene with smaller venues among the Restless gigs. Go off with a younger audience.
Yes. The Brunswick area Brunswick and Fitzroy areas is where a lot of the younger bands do really well.
Correct.
And I don't want to sound like an asshole or anything like that, but Musicland is definitely a venue for the older generation. It's not a youth-friendly venue.
Yes, it is.
It is.
Sorry, I'm going to throw that out at you.
No. There's young people there, but for a younger band, it's not the right environment for them. It's a great venue to play at. I'm not saying
It is.
like it's not, but for a younger band to try to gain, like grow as a band and gain a following, Musicland isn't the venue for it.
Bullshit, Rhiannon.
Yep.
I'm sorry.
I call bullshit.
I'm going to fucking no. I'm going to think of that. That's bullshit because all we've done as a venue since we've started, right, is basically try and bring in all these young bands. And since me and Tyrone had started the Oz Music Project, right, was to basically change the culture of what Musicland was. It was in order to bring in these young kids. So you can't turn around and say that Musicland isn't. Musicland has got its own forte. We brought a whole bunch of young bands in, right? They played on a stage that they've never ever played at. They didn't play, and I'm going to throw this out. They didn't play at the Tote that fucking get electrocuted on your microphone every time you sing into it because it's happened.
Not that bad anymore.
They haven't played at a venue that holds 30 people. They had $150,000 to $250,000 worth of audio and lighting.
I was going to say, look at the quality of the venue compared to others.
Right. They played at the back.
I'm not discrediting that at all.
No, but they played in the backstage, right? We stuck them in the backstage. It was usually when a larger gig was on. So those people from the larger gig and the older crowd that had spent money on merch because they've got money to spend on merch would go into the backstage, right, and have a look at these bands. Whether they liked them or whether they didn't like them was a different form of music. But you can put all these kids, and I'm going to go back to what I said before, you can put all these kids inside a venue in the middle of Brunswick, like I did, and played. 95% of people don't even listen to what they're talking to. They might have a full house. 95% of people don't listen to what they're talking to. These young bands have got a lot more to look at, but no, I'm sorry. As Musicland as a venue, no. I'm
just saying from the engineer point of view, from what I've seen working, especially in that back bar where you are putting the younger bands, you'll have maybe 2 or 3 people walk in that's not from the band, and then they walk out again. They don't stick around. They don't stay. And I get that's because they're seeing whatever's on in the main stage and they're paid to see that and all that. But you don't get as many people poking their heads in as what I think you do.
But I think partly that's because, all right, so every time we put a gig on and we'll spend, so whatever money comes in through the door for the band, whatever it's divided up, you get paid, band gets paid, whatever, and everything gets paid. Then out of our own pockets, for every gig that we do, we put in advertising money. So each gig, and on Facebook or whatever the case is, we're probably dropping anywhere between $50 to $100 on every band for online advertising. Okay, and the rest, right? I know Tyrone knows the figures, but for them to have the 20 or 30 people that are there, great. But these bands don't advertise. How many times have I looked at their pages and they don't advertise that they've got a gig on? It's got nothing to do with us, whether they bring things. All that we do is we provide them the top of the range thing. Nine times out of 10, they don't even need to bring a drum kit with cymbals. So you can't say that as us as a venue, we probably don't have the ability to, or we don't have that younger generation that are coming in as a regular basis. I'll completely agree with. But that was why we started the Oz Music Project, was in order to create a hub and create awareness of the venue and give them somewhere else to play and give them a different audience and try and capture the different audience.
It's also to answer your question before, George, about where do we go after the 1990s? What happens after that? That was the whole conversation that we had about when we made this thing. Like, what's going to happen next? We need to get the new generation in. We need to start, introducing new talent, younger people, all that kind of stuff. So Adrian Brennan's actually come up with a comment there that sort of resonates. He says, it's the stigma of Brunswick and Fitzroy that keep average kids from the suburbs who don't fit into the hipster scene, that keep young Aussie bands limited, which I think is a very fair comment. It makes these guys their own worst enemy. I remember, it goes on for a while.
I get what Adrian's trying to say with that. It basically, if you're not in like that inner circle, it's hard to break in, it's hard to break out and get bigger than that. I get that. But you look at any venue circuit, there's a lot of venues like that. Or if a management agency has their hands in the pockets of a venue, it can be very hard for any band, regardless if they're original or covers or tribute, to break into a new venue and go to a different audience, go to a different location.
But that's what I was saying before, because we're a completely independent venue from that. The whole thing is that we wanted to open that whole area up and that whole space up to that. George Kikis, said, I think what Rhiannon is saying, it's easier for walk-ins at inner city pubs compared to outer suburb venues. That I'll agree with.
That's probably because they're already in the city anyway, and it's just easier for them.
No, I mean, I'll put my hand up and say where we are, public transport shit. I mean, not really. You've got Gowrie Station, but you have to leave by a certain time for the last train. So we don't have trams and we don't have buses. We've got train, but don't train, no bus.
Shocking in that area as well.
Where?
Out the front of Musicland, parking is shocking.
Hold on. Have you ever parked in Brunswick?
Yes.
That's terrible.
Parking is non-existent in Brunswick.
Okay, so hold on. Have you ever parked in the city?
Yes.
Okay, so what's your primarily what's your walk in Brunswick in the city?
Usually about half an hour.
A walk, half an hour to get from your car to the venue, yeah? So if you park out the front on Sydney Road, it's 547 metres to KFC.
Yes.
It's a 6-minute walk.
Yes.
If that, yeah.
Parking's not shit. I'm sorry. Man. Rhiannon, I'm going to give you a shovel and you're going to keep digging.
No. Have you tried to park at the venue at like 11 o'clock at night when all the parking is like taken up on that strip?
Yeah, you park down at KFC. It's a 6-minute walk. Have you parked in Brunswick at 1 o'clock, at 12 o'clock at night?
Or you
parked in the middle of the city?
Then. If I'm in Brunswick, I'm probably drinking.
So from where you live, you've caught a cab or whatever the case is all the way in? I'll
train it in. I won't ever catch a cab.
Okay, but what I'm saying to you, if you drove in and you were working, right, where do you park?
Wherever I can get one.
Okay, I'm talking in Brunswick.
Actually,
all right, no, but
PT, like...
It's the same thing. We've got better parking than closer parking.
I'm not saying your parking is the worst parking out there. There's definitely worse parking, but it is not as good as what other areas are.
Bullshit. What are you talking about? Fuck. Seriously.
All right, there's a comment there from Milena. She says 80s music is now cool again. More and more kids are listening to it. Our kids and their friends have been introduced via Musicland, which is that's
There you go.
an awesome comment right there, which means that it's doing something.
Yeah.
Look, I didn't mean to anger anybody, but on the scheme.
Rhiannon, forget the parking.
No. Like just in general with everything I've just said. I didn't mean to anger anybody, but if you look at it from like my generation, my generation is lazy. Like I'll openly admit that. Like we're lazy fucks.
We have been fighting this parking comment since we opened the freaking venue, and people said, "Oh my god, it's so far to park." Bullshit. I have to. If I go to the whole, I'm gonna think this. If I go to the city, right, the only place that we park will be at the casino, and then we'll walk from the casino, or catch a tram, or catch a train, or whatever the case is. Greg Secluding, hello. Bree's point about parking, especially for train, it's the same shit. You're going to get wet regardless of where you go. The only places that don't, go to a freaking RSL. Go and get your can of milk. It gets stuck.
Have a cup of concrete.
Yeah. Adrian, I'm not. It's not that. I mean, I do love the venue, right, and how invested I am in it. Obviously, I am. But what it is, right? I just saw Sav's comment. Sav's comment was, he goes, "Beat on that brat."
Oh, good on you, Sav.
Yeah, parking's difficult everywhere. I mean, listen.
Parking's difficult everywhere. Let's leave it at that. Leave it at that.
You know what it is?
It's got nothing to do with original acts in the back room.
Hold on. When we first started the venue back in 2000 and whatever it was, you know, probably every single person that we spoke to told us that it'd never work. Regardless of what we did, they told us it'd never work. Mm-hmm. So if one day I want to turn around, and again, why I said to Tyrone, why the whole Oz Music project and all that started was we thought about it. We actually spoke about it and said, what's going to happen in 20 years when the music stops, when live bands, whatever the case is, what's going to be next? That's what it comes down to. We are very, very invested in it, and we're so freaking passionate about the whole music, whether they're young, whether they're old, whether they're violet smiles. I can be green. Sorry.
It's all it's all about the support. No matter what the band is, what the music, the genre, anything like that, it's all about trying to support these guys because they don't get it anywhere else. And that was simply what the whole concept of it was.
Yeah, exactly.
You know?
So I mean, listen, the music industry is changing.
It is.
And basically the only way to change with it is to adapt to it. I look at a lot of venues that are around and they're still stuck in the same ways that they were 50 years ago. But that's not what we're all about. We started with metal bands. Originally, when Musicland first started, it was all metal bands. And it was a great, they were one of my favourite audiences. Mm-hmm. They drink like fish and never cause a problem. Mm-hmm. And they, how would you explain it? And we used to have, I remember we used to get 25, 30 people in the venue as it is now. And it was actually it was about a little bit smaller than what it was. We used to be stoked. Mm. Everyone would have smiles on their faces. And we were thinking, oh, yeah, this is grouse. And then it went to 100 people and then 200 people and then 400 people. So the venue itself's grown. And, I mean, genres of music have come and genres of music have gone, which is just relative. Mm-hmm. So I don't know. That's my thing. Yeah. But I have too much to say here, having the years, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, that's Bronny. Hello, Bron. Bronny was one of our earliest people with us in the early days. She even worked the bar. Here you go. George Kikis. I'll organise Among the Restless and Cosa Nostra.
Send me a message about that, George, if you can.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which?
No, George Kikis, not you.
Who? Not me.
About those bands, yeah.
Yeah. Double bill at Bebby's Bar, 2 great bands, and they will need advertising support. But I'm sure, yeah, there you go. Patrons will love them. Patrons love everyone.
I've taught my kids real music. They love it. They play it if they sing it. Oh, sorry, they sing it. And they will teach their kids real music and so on.
What do you mean by real music?
I didn't
That's
say
what
that
I want to know.
Because
No. The comment says real music. what are you defining as real music? Are you defining real music as the 80s that you are familiar with, that you grew up with, or are you talking about musical theory and how to read sheet music and how to play a proper instrument?
Yes, George.
I don't know how to read sheet music, and I play drums. Is that a real instrument?
Well, apparently not.
No, I didn't fucking mean it like that.
You can't swear.
No, I hate the comment of, oh, I've taught my kids real music, or I only listen to real music. It seems to constantly come from, and I'm going to say it, but people of like my dad's generation and your generation, George, like you're 40 plus, who grew up in the 80s. A lot of these people are stuck in the mindset, it's not real music because I don't know the lyrics, because it's not what I grew up with. It's not what like the bands are playing anymore. Like, so what is real music? What are you defining as real music
Well,
nowadays?
she replied. She said the old stuff. It's not about
the old
reading
stuff.
sheet music.
No. So what they're talking about is basically bands.
Yeah, guitars,
It's-
drums,
it-
and yeah.
It's musicianship. It's not anything that's done electronically. It's not anything like that. Sue Balderston goes, I'm getting my popcorn.
Can I have some?
Andrew Brennan, music made by musicians playing instruments. That's, yeah.
Actually,
that's
read
what-
Adrian's comment before that, the big one.
All right, so behind Crimson Eyes, Kiss Chasing, etc., I'm reading my thing. From that mid-2000s era, end of filling venues like the Tote, the Art House, great venues, with kids of all ages, and then the same venue with the same band with grown-ups the same night. Draw your lines. Love to hear your thoughts and what they have done to Melbourne music. Hold on, let me read it again.
Well, George,
Same venue with the same.
Same venues with the same
okay, sorry.
bands. With
No, what
grown-ups
they're
the same
saying is,
night.
but and this is where my generational thing comes in, and I'm going to be frank about it. The generational thing, I'm going to say my generation, and I'm talking the greater group of friends that I had, were probably the last generation. You had a 30 to 70 split, and I'm 42, yeah? So it was a 30% to 70% split. 30% went to venues, 70% went to clubs. You look at most of the kids' generation now, and it's probably a 95 to 5%. So 95% of these kids are going to clubs, 5% of these kids are going to venues. And the only reason that they're going to venues is because mum and dad are dragging them there, or they've got a true love of it. And we've probably got 3 kids at Musicland that have grown up into that as regulars. I'm talking on jam night. Sorry.
yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Back onto the whole topic of real music. Greg, I'm not going to try to pronounce your last name because I will butcher it.
Secluder.
Secluna. I think that means music played on proper instruments as opposed to computer program stuff. Just touching on that comment, that means, so like, are you saying that all music in the 80s and 90s that was done on synthesizers and like the early forms of synthesizers isn't classed as real music because it's technically a form of programming?
Back then, I think it's different to now, though, because with the technology in these and in these times, I would call them artists more so, because it's an art form. They probably can't pick up a guitar and play it, but they can make some really great music.
I know a lot of people who do the electronic programming who still can pick up a guitar, who know how to like play a basic beat on a drum kit. So like that's why I kind of arc up a little bit with this whole real music comment, because they do still understand like the basics of creating a song. If they didn't, they wouldn't be able to create what they create.
Yes, George.
I've got to agree with you, Reek, because I think anyone who can create any form of music, whether it be electronic or whether it be whatever it is, to me, that's still real music. It's just the new generation of real music. That's what the next gen is going to be. I look at in the shop itself, the amount of programming gear that we've got and the amount of programming gear that we sell has expedited to significant amounts. You look at some of the biggest music shops now in Melbourne, bigger than what ours is, and they've now got whole floors specifically designed towards DJs, specifically designed towards electronic music and creating electronic music with program and all that. So all it is just a new generation. When people say you've got to take it a little bit, when our generation or the older generation say real music, they basically 9 times out of 10, they interpret that to playing instruments, because a lot of people don't understand, or they think that almost electronic music is, I'm just going to push a button and go doof, 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 like your phone did before.
That's what a DJ does.
See,
no, but a DJ still, if you actually and we've had this conversation about rap, right?
Yeah.
Because I like my hip hop, R&B, and rap music, right?
Yep.
All of their stuff is all sampled, but you have to still be able to put this music together.
Yes.
yes.
Yep.
That's what it comes down to. You've still, if you're completely tone deaf and musically dyslexic or disabled, you're going to have no chance of putting. If you said to someone, "I've got these 2 sample beats, put together a track with it," the person who's got a musical ability will be able to do it. The person with no music ability will end up giving you back the sample track with them going on top of it, thinking it's cool.
Yep. Well, I just like touching on the label of DJ. I've got mad respect for those who will live mix and live scratch and all of those terms. I don't do it. I don't know what the terminology is for it. I don't respect the people who just sit there and like hit play on their computer and just play songs that have already been written and add like a bass enhancer to it, because that is a thing. There's like a fake DJ equivalent out there.
Yeah, but I'm talking about all these big DJs that play and that are actually creating their own samples and creating all that. That's a different genre.
Different.
People,
yeah.
The people who most people automatically coordinate as what a DJ actually is, right? Yes, are the ones that are at your wedding, they're at your birthday party or your bar mitzvah, and they'll then go on to play at a nightclub, but even at a nightclub, they still screw that up because they don't have the ability in order to, it is a matter of reading your audience. It's like playing in a cover band, and how I said before, like playing in a regular band. You're playing your music to suit that audience. If you can't read your audience as a normal person or as a DJ or whatever the case is, you're screwed. That's what producers are for. That's what auto-tuning is invented for. That was from, go on, sorry.
I was going to read Adrian's comment. I think Ty and I, me and him, we actually went out quite a lot together when we were younger. Could say we filled live venues, switched next, goo, bang the corner. You went to pre-drinks at 8 o'clock to be at the venue by 9:30 to see the bands before the DJs took over at midnight. 1 a.m, I think there's a correlation between kids drinking beers and live music dying, with kids enjoying a night out in other ways.
No ways. Yep. And that's what I was saying.
Oh, go ahead.
No, I was going to say to Tyrone, you, with all the kids that you went to school with, what would have been the percentage of kids that went out to listen to live music, and you knew who they were because they were all wearing Ramones T-shirts.
Yep. Yeah.
And Nirvana T-shirts and all that sort of stuff, versus the kids that were going out to nightclubs and they were all wearing stussy pants and V-neck T-shirts and chains.
Back then, you were kind of one or the other.
Yeah, but what was the percentage? That's what I'm trying to get at.
Oh, back then, it was probably more lenient towards the people going out clubbing.
Yeah.
So yeah, that brings back memories. We played a show at Bang one night and we filled it. We filled the room out. That was one of our awesome gigs as a teenager. Brings back memories. Thanks, Adrian. As long as the ability to jump. Go on.
No, I was going to say Michael Lamberti. Did you see his comment? He freaking nailed Michael Lamberti. Michael Umberto. What do you think of people with a laptop and they call themselves producers? Because I think it cheapens the real producers out there. There's a good one.
Great one.
I think it depends on what they're doing and how they're either creating, or because the label of a producer also goes to like an audio engineer who mixes and masters songs. If like, because Waves is completely digital now. There's no like, it's all on your computer. If you're using Waves programs and like Ableton to create your things, then sure, like you're a producer. But if you're using like cheaper knockoff programs and again not creating anything through your own abilities, then are you a fake?
All right. Well, what about if I said this back to Michael? Define the difference between call themselves producers and real producers. What's the difference?
If you're putting, I'm going to put my hand up again. If you're a band, right? If you're a band and we're going to go and get music produced, okay, and your mate said, I can produce you, obviously him producing is him just mixing your music.
Yes,
a producer to me is someone giving proper input and proper criticism and telling you what you need to do in order to make your album better. That's a producer.
Yeah.
That I think that goes into how has the music industry changed, because that role has definitely evolved or in some ways like become nil and void.
But does that warrant anyone with a laptop to become a producer?
I don't think so, no. But that's just my opinion.
I wouldn't shut them off because a lot of people out there with a laptop might have great input into make your songs incredible. So I wouldn't discount them.
It's always the outside person. I've always said this, that you can take everyone's opinion and whatever your opinion ends up being your own, that's what you use. But sometimes people come up with freaking amazing ideas and you think to yourself, well, I'll use that. Does that automatically make them a producer? Because they've touched you or your song.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Because they're suggesting or they're telling. Because if you're a producer, from what my understanding was watching these Jimmy Levine and Dr. Dre and all these other shows with all these massive producers and everything on them,
all the real
they
fake
told
guys.
you what. Yeah, all the real fake guys. Yeah. They told you what to do. If you didn't do it, right, your album would go ahead. Look what the one with Dave Grohl. Sun City.
Yeah, but your album wouldn't go ahead through them. If you didn't take their advice on board, your album wouldn't go ahead through them. So there would be other avenues.
That sounds more like a management thing.
No, that's what a producer's role is. Producer's role is to tell you what the record company wants you to do in order to make your CD commercially viable.
That role's changed now. There's not a lot of producers who will say you must do this or we're cutting you out kind of thing.
That's because you've got no balls. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out there.
I do like Rick's comment from before. He says, as long as the ability to jump on a piano or a guitar or sax, etc., and be able to play songs in all different keys, we need to be careful not to lose that skill, which will dilute the art. I actually agree with that.
That's very clever. That's why Rick's smart. He's so smart. Here you go. Where is it? Where else did I see? Savs. We filled out Southland. Exactly. Need to keep it real. Sorry. And Michael, someone that spent money. Here we go. Michael Umberti. Someone that spent money into creating a studio instead of a bedroom. Producer is talking.
But anyone can do that. It still doesn't come down to whether you got the skill or not. I think having a studio over a bedroom doesn't warrant you saying you're a producer. You still got to have that skill.
But if a band came to you and said, "Can I record with you?" and they recorded in your bedroom studio,
that just looks extremely unprofessional.
But hold on, some of the best engineer or recording engineers that I know are still recording out of their bedrooms with the limited equipment that they can afford, and probably, and I can tell you for a fact that 3 or 4 of the albums that you've got on yours have been produced by this one particular person. And he is considered to be one of the best in Victoria. But he still produces out of his bedroom.
We did one of our last albums through Pete Dacey, the guy's name is, and he did it all in his garage. His studio's in his garage.
Yeah,
and
I don't see a problem with people like creating from their bedroom.
Rhiannon's become a DJ. Wait for the bass drop. Hold on, I've got to mute her.
I think Rhiannon's computer's broken. I think Rhiannon's broken.
I've still got back.
Are you trying to be a DJ, George? Yeah, awesome.
Put her on mute.
She's trying to make her point.
All right, leave it on mute for a minute, Rhiannon.
Stop it.
Just leave it on mute. Just for a minute. Oh, that's better.
Oh.
Just can't talk there. That's what we listened to before.
All right, well, we'll finish off with these couple of comments because then we've got one more song to go and then we'll probably wrap it up, I think.
Yeah.
Adrian, Brennan, are freezer gigs still a thing? I know they sparked a massive interest and created a live music culture in kids my age. I actually don't know.
I heard that council pulled all funding from it.
Oh, really?
No, Rhiannon, 2 words. First word.
Oh, she's back.
Council haven't, they've withdrawn funding, but they are still operating as like a youth organisation. They just don't have the same funding as before. So all the freezer gigs that used to pop up are no longer popping up. I'll mute myself now.
No.
No. You can stay there. It's okay.
So we've had some great comments there. Sav, DJ Ree, Sue Balderston, great producing, Rhiannon. Rachel Tidyman, she broke. Linda Thornycroft, doof. Greg Secluna, a drum. I don't think Ree understands what happened.
Who is this producer? DJ Ree.
DJ Ree.
Great producing, Ree.
That's it. Yeah. There you go. So I'm going to go back through some of these comments. Correct. It comes down to let's put on this song and then we're going to finish up. But
yeah, I think so.
Rick wrote correct. It comes down to the skill, talent, and creativity of the producer as well as the good equipment. Good equipment these days is anything but a Pentium 64.
Pentium 386.
That's the one.
Yeah.
AKA editing, most have mastered an instrument. Producers, there's a massive problem right there. Why would kids start a band with nowhere to start?
Who said that?
Freezer.
That's why we exist.
Freezer Gigs also started so many young bands on their journey for one Tyrone. Are Freezer Gigs still a thing? And then Adrian Brandon wrote, Oz Music Project, there's a massive problem right there. Why would kids start a band with nowhere to go? Nowhere to start?
Because they love what they do.
Yeah, correct.
They love being a muso and they love being with other people that share the same interest.
Yeah.
That's why I would have done it.
Yeah. There you go. All right, let's play this last song and then get out of here because I'm
you're
still
sick,
in my workplace.
You're sick of arguing about car parks and stuff, are you?
I'm telling you, Rhiannon, next time you come to Musicland, I'm going to make you park in Coburg. And then you know what it's going to feel like to park in freaking Brunswick.
And you're going to bring us KFC on the way.
Park in Brunswick.
No, and I agree with Tyrone. You're going to stop at KFC. I can't eat KFC.
Oh,
can you
actually, Krispy Kreme, couple donuts, thanks.
You know what? Krispy Kreme, and then we'll let you order food from the Musicland food truck. Right? I'll cook it for you, and then you can bring it around to me.
Okay. I just won't ever come back to Musicland again. That's how I avoid that.
Shut up.
But hang on, if they don't have a pathway, how do they take it out of their school music room?
That's about freezer.
No, I think that's about what I said about playing with musos and like it's your passion. You've got a passion and you want to do it with people. So how do they take it out of the school music room? Well, like every other band does, get together with people, meet people, get together, find events, go to Musicland, play in the back room.
Go to a jam.
Yeah, go to a jam.
Yep, it's about both.
Hello, Nick.
Nick, with a big, better put the next song on.
Hello! Just because why not? We haven't had any of those tonight.
What?
Excuse me. The fuck did you just say?
We needed that before.
I'm a bit late with them. Oh, yeah.
I like you.
These nuts.
Why do I do this to myself? Why do I... Guys.
You're very yelling a lot now.
blue eyes are very nice.
Like, I lose brain cells every time I, talk to you two.
All right, we got one more song. Rhiannon, what's this song called?
Scratching my brain.
This band's a Sucker Punch. I can't remember what song I gave you the link to.
How We Operate, it's called.
That's one.
It's called Happy. Stick around for this one, guys. It's actually a really cool song. It's a mixture of a whole lot of different genres.
I love this band.
In this one. So check it out, and then we'll come back and we'll finish up after the track.
Because I've got some important news to talk about too.
Ooh, interesting. All right, here's the track.
I've got news.
Dude. Hey, man.
Huh?
Hey,
What?
buddy.
What?
Hey. What are you listening to?
Nothing. Not myself, anyway.
Have you heard the new Sucker Punch album?
Man, those guys suck so hard.
Oh, really? Yeah, your mum does.
Huh?
Huh?
What?
What?
Huh?
A sphincter says what?
What?
Squeeze me?
What are you saying?
Nothing, man. I just thought that maybe you'd dig him, that's all.
Yeah, I don't think so, man.
Way back when I was just a little guy in my room with my toys, wouldn't share with the boys. And ain't it crazy how some people never change? Rearrange, throwing shade at the ones you love to hate. Come on now, this guy's got a twinkle in his eye and a hole in his pants. He reached out and touched the sky, he does the monkey dance. Seems clear to me this ain't the way it's supposed to be. So lick your lips, get close to me. Who's that? Who's that guy with the funky hat? Is he smoking crack? Well, fancy that. And back when I was just this little guy in my room, I would never share with the boys. Ain't it crazy how some people never change? Rearrange, oh, you love to hate. Settle down, it's all in your head now. It's not too late. And from this moment, we have a choice in how we operate. Next in line, you have been chosen. We can show them how we operate. Who's that? Who's that guy with the funky hat? Is he smoking crack? Well, fancy that. Who's that guy? Smells just like apple pie. Is he getting hot? Well, my oh my. Come on now, this guy's got a twinkle in his eye and a hole in his pants. He reached out and touched the sky, he does the monkey dance. It seems clear to me this ain't the way it's supposed to be. So lick your lips, get close to me. can show them how we operate. We 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 can show them. Settle down, it's all in your head now. It's not too late, and from this moment we have choice in how we operate.
You listen to the track.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I-
Very nice.
I love this band.
See, what gets my goat is why can't bands like that be on Triple M?
Good question.
I think it comes down to how we consume new music. We kind of do the same thing as we do when we read and we skim listen. So if we get told, hey, check out this rock band, or hey, check out this new song from this band, if it doesn't fit our expectations of what we have in mind for the band or for the radio station we're hearing it on, we automatically put the label of it shit. And the reason why I love
That's just a freaking kick-ass band, and I like that song. I listen to that song on repeat.
the reason why I love this band so much is because they don't sit in one genre. You can't do that skim listening to, and you can't just box them in whatever genre you think they belong to. You have to listen to them.
All right, I'll put a question out to the people. How many people do you think would have discovered that song unless we just played it then?
Probably none.
There you go. Probably none.
Probably none. But
my point is, obviously, we're doing something. This whole thing we got going is doing something, and it's doing at the moment. It's doing more than the radio stations. It's doing more than all those big places.
we should have a radio station.
Who wants to listen to that song again after we finish? Who wants to get into their car and drive around listening to that song really, really fast?
Oh yeah. After
Dave,
curfew, let's go.
That song is probably their more tamer song. One of their albums is almost completely funk based. Another one is almost completely metal based. This artist really they fluctuate between genres every
That thing goes
time
to
they play.
that then goes to show you how versatile they are, and they've got almost a little bit of something for everyone. What are they called?
Osaka Punch.
And that song was How We Operate. If anyone wants to
How do
listen
we
to
operate?
it.
I like the sausage. That's what you were laughing at, wasn't Tyrone, during the thing?
Yeah. That guy's waving a sausage around.
I was dry reaching because I can't stand the smell of stale sauce or just sauce in general.
The sauce is good.
No, sauce is really good to eat, but it has to be washed off the plate once you've finished eating it, because then it goes stale and it's
all goopy. I will, if people want to hear more of my opinion on these guys, I will probably do a podcast episode on them. So keep an eye out for that.
Catherine Nahotis always wanted to have a radio station, Musicland Radio.
Oh, that's not a bad idea.
Great idea.
Coles Radio, they've got that. I can put on my best radio voice. All right, folks, up next.
I'd listen to that.
Pink Rhino.
Yeah, well, nothing wrong with funk metal. Just ask Rage Against the Machine.
There you go.
Actually, those guys there listening to that song, I reckon they would have done well at Woodstock.
100%.
They would have caused riots, I think. Yeah, no?
Butch disagrees.
No, I don't disagree, but Woodstock was Woodstock. They tried to redo Woodstock and it just didn't happen.
Yeah, they need promotions. Yes, they do.
Yes, they do. They need a lot of promotions. And
like I was saying, that's what we're trying to do.
I wonder if they have a 12-inch club dub mix. Not yet, Greg, but it's on its way.
From those
Something
bedroom
for everyone.
producers, yeah.
Yep. All right, now, so I'm going to go a bit of news what we've got coming up. We're possibly going to be streaming this Thursday,
Possibly.
Friday,
Yep.
Saturday or Sunday. We haven't decided yet, but we're actually going to be streaming. We're going to be trying a new format just for something that we're going to be doing once we can fully open again on Sundays. And we need your support with this one because what it is, the show is about everyone at home. You get to choose the music.
Mm-hmm.
So we're going to have an all-star band.
And you get to talk to the musos.
You get to talk to the musos. And you get to choose the music and there's prizes and there's lots of stuff. What do you want?
I'm reacting to you.
Oh,
it looked like you wanted to say something.
Yeah, I know.
Really, really badly.
Yeah, so no, that's what we're going to be doing. So we've got a new show coming up, and it's basically just a bit of fun. We'll have a couple of different musos. We're allowed 5 people in the venue. That's 5 people in the venue. So logistically, it's taking us a little bit longer to work out how we're going to do it, but with the power of technology. Yep. Dad's going to be playing guitar and doing audio at the same time while he's on stage with another 4 musos. I'll probably be up on stage, and then we'll have a guitarist, bass player, and 1, 2, 3, 4, maybe a keyboard player. And anyway, there'll be 5 people in the venue.
I'll
then Tyrone
being at home, doing it all from home.
Yeah, so Tyrone will still be with us, but he'll be on camera from home, controlling the cameras that are at the Musicland venue. Mm-hmm. Do you like that? And it's through the power of what's it called? NDI.
NDI, yeah.
Magic.
It's through the power of magic because it's taken a long time to set this up.
Yeah. So it's all ones and zeros. Now I can make all the way to Ringwood. Guzman Gomez.
No, he can make it all the way to Musicland when we open up again.
Where's he?
I don't know. I think he's in Kilmore from memory. Last time I spoke to him.
Yeah, well, there's a Guzman Gomez in Tullamarine, near the airport.
Yeah, so go there, and then when Musicland opens, come to Musicland.
Yeah, Guzman Gomez. Oh, they're opening up I'm going off track here. So that's the first thing. The second thing is we've got that much merchandise that's come in. We've got the guys from Squidding Printing coming down tomorrow to give us a hand with a lot of the printing side of stuff. I know my mum or Kathy has got absolutely nuts. She's been on a mission. George, what do you think of this? George, what do you think of that? Tyrone, you should do this. What do we think we're doing this? We've got the biggest list of merchandise.
Our workload is like
yeah. If you awesome. If you can think it, my mother has thunk it. Yep. She's got stubby holders coming with really cool Marilyn Monroe tattoos on them, and Musicland.
And actual tattoos coming.
Yep, tattoos are coming. Face masks are coming. Thank you, Belle.
All sorts of things.
Tote bags. We've been talking about tote bags today.
Even with doggy jackets and all sorts.
Yep. Through the power of 5G and the jab, Andrew Brennan. That's correct.
That's how I make the cameras work.
Now, I've got to make another point too. Someone pissed me off the other day. I've got more people pissing me off.
Love it.
Shut up, Rhiannon.
You can't silence me.
Someone asked me a specific question the other day. They asked us what Musicland's view was on the double vax or non-vax jab. Musicland's view on the double vax or non-vax jab is whatever the DHHS tells us what to do, that's what we're doing.
Full stop.
That's it. Full stop. Then they asked me what my personal opinion was on the jab and the double jab, and I gave them basically the same answer. I've given up worrying about it a month and a half ago. I think that maybe they may introduce something, but we don't know. Yep. We're going off. Everything's very fluid. They then turned around to a bunch of people and basically told them that Musicland had said that it was, that Musicland had said that we were pro double vax. And and the other people in the band had to go and get vaxxed. We did not say that. I did not say that.
Yep.
So please, if we say anything, go on.
I was going to say, if anyone hears anything other than what George and I are saying, it's not true.
No.
Simple as that.
So, yeah, we've basically got a whole thing is that, yes, we are looking into it. We will be doing whatever the DHHS says. There was a good topic brought up today regarding public liability insurance, because there's a big thing going around through Music Victoria at the moment and through Music Australia regarding the public liability side of COVID and what's going to happen with that if everyone's vaccinated and a non-vaccinated person walks into the venue and catches COVID, there's a massive, massive issue with that at the moment. So that's the other side of why whatever the DHHS says is what public liability will say and all the other little things that go down the line. Yeah. So, yeah.
I think people are just getting excited because people are knowing that it's going to come to an end. Well, hopefully it's going to come to an end soon, and everyone wants answers for themselves, so they're coming to us. But we're just going to keep reiterating it. We don't know. We can't do anything until the DHHS say what we can and can't do.
The only venue I'm aware of that's made a statement is Cherry Bar. I'm not going to say what they've put in their statement. If you want to check that, go over to their
May as well just say it.
They basically said because it looks like it's going to be double jab for entry, that's what they're doing. They won't allow anything else to happen, is what they've stated so far. But they're the only venue I'm aware of that's actually made a statement regarding reopening.
Crown Casino did.
I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, Crown Casino's no jab, no entry. I mean, listen, we don't care, whatever it is. All we want to do is open. All we want to do is open. And all we want to do is have live music.
Yeah,
if we don't care what you do.
We don't care your personal choices and stuff. You do what you want to do. We're just going to do what we're told. Yeah.
We just want open.
Yeah.
I just want to see people and see people dance, because I don't dance. I dance on the inside. I just want to play music. Just want to listen to bands play, see people have a few drinks and get together. Belinda, where is it? Linda Thornycroft said price point on merchandise. There's too much to answer, and price point will be very, very cheap to very, very expensive because there's a lot. Yep. I think my mum's even ordered bears.
Yeah. So price points are going to be very different. We're going to have it all listed on. Oh, yes, George.
No, you've got exciting news too.
For what?
Memberships.
That's what I was going for. I was going to say there's going to be all different price points listed in different places, and we have a membership option coming up. We're still looking
Don't do the eyebrow thing. It's weird.
We're still looking at different membership options, and we're working it all out at the moment. But it's very exciting, and it's going to be jam-packed full of features and stuff. So keep an eye out for that. Yeah. And as soon as we get it all ready, we'll organise and to announce it.
So it's basically going to be, I think we've got 3 or 4 tier memberships, and basically the whole thing is excuse me, give people, tell them one of them, I think the most basic one is basically you get early access to tickets before everyone else, so you get the seats that you want to get.
Yep.
And you're able to enter the venue before everyone else enters the venue. Yep. That's the basic one.
Like a VIP line almost.
Yeah, we've got a VIP. We're going to get a red carpet and a velvet rope, and we're going to dress Mark up and the security guard, and we're going to make him nice and put glitter all over him.
Makeup on him and a wig.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Poor Mark. I miss Mark.
I miss everyone.
Oh, here we go. Adrian, surely the venue will have a new drink called the COVID-19, and it will feature absinthe. Do you know what the COVID-19 is going to be? It's basically going to be every single drink you could have imagined that you couldn't drink during COVID is going to be poured into a shot glass, and you're going to be forced to drink it.
Yeah, it's like King's Cup, but in a shot glass.
And it's going to make you sick.
For 2 days.
Yep. Basic sounds awesome to me. Yep.
Yeah.
But then going back to the memberships, the bigger memberships are actually even better. You do. Yep. They get a lot better, and it's not very expensive. Music had Corona for years. I've ordered plenty of them. Yep. Max, it's very true. Halloween's
night.
coming up.
Mm.
Adrian, Brett, and Kings. We should play Kings Cup
Kings
online.
Cup. Yeah, we should. Actually, that's not a bad idea for a show.
Maybe we do that during the stream.
Hmm.
Oh, but we can't. We're only allowed freaking 5 people in the venue. Oh. Are we allowed? If we're in Bebby's bar and the band's in the other bar, are they two different venues, aren't they?
Yes.
But is it still classed as the same building?
2 different venues.
That's what that was my thinking too.
Yeah. So Kings Cup in the back, band's playing in the front.
We could play King's Kitchen.
Kings.
I don't know. I'm just making shit up now. I've really got to go.
Yeah.
I need a shower because I've been working all day and I smell.
We've been going for an hour and 45 minutes. Do you know that?
What?
It's because Rhiannon was being abusive.
I was not being abusive. I was just saying things to get you guys to talk because you had no things to talk about.
We had plenty to
you
talk
made me
about.
talk, all right?
Yeah.
You always
It's your
KFC.
show. You're meant to talk. I don't owe you anything.
Who invited her?
Donuts.
You're so mean to me. I carry the Oz Music Project, and this is how I get thanked.
Oh, we love you. You know we love you.
Hold on. Many have missed it. May have missed it. But how the hell do you decide 5 people? P.S. You smell. Thank you. It wasn't me. It was the government or the Director of Health, Human Services, and the rest of the other Malakias. He decided what was going on. So I freaking don't know. We're allowed 5 people in the thing, 2 stream, which is crap because we've usually got a team of 5.
That's actually bullshit. I reckon you should just turn around and gone, oh, what about the music sector? Let's just go 5 people and keep them happy. I reckon it's just rubbish.
No, because I've got like an acoustic guitar and I can put like my selfie ring light up with my phone and my 25 Instagram people and play my Kumbaya, my Lord. Kumbaya. Yeah.
We could remix that. We could make a killing.
No, whatever. All I have to do is... But that's all you have to do now on Instagram and TikTok and all that is just take your top off and show a bit of cleavage and ass crack and you've made it.
I can't do that.
I can't either.
I don't have tits.
We weren't talking to you.
You swore again.
I did not say.
This is a family show.
Rhiannon, could you please use the correct terms and call them mammary glands?
Oh, it's getting to that point in the night.
Yeah. So no, I actually...
Lucky dip or something.
No, sorry.
What just happened?
Someone sent me a message just asking, was it someone from their band? And I said, no, definitely wasn't.
Oh, okay. Yep.
No, I've actually spoken to that person in private already and the rest of the people in the band just to reiterate what my thoughts were and what I actually said because I'm one that doesn't like words being told. If I'm going to say something to someone, trust me, I will tell you to your face.
Hello, I've accidentally painted a gentleman's sausage.
What the?
What is it with you and sausages today?
The lady at the food truck gave us a pair. So for whatever reason during COVID, we've had a lady from the tucker truck come past every day, and we're her last call on the run. So myself, it was only me and Tyrone today. And she gave us a texter and goes, "Oh, can you draw on the back of the tucker truck for us?" And we said, "Well, we your last call." Said, "Yeah." So we were going to draw a penis on the back of it, but she wouldn't let us.
Yeah. She took the pen off us like kids.
Yeah. So
there's going to be plenty more of that kind of stuff coming up soon, Rick. If you like that one.
Yeah.
A lot more enjoyable than these nuts. A lot more enjoyable than what?
These nuts.
Tyrone.
Yeah.
Would you like any pistachios or any of
These nuts.
In your mouth.
Yeah, baby.
Oh no.
I've got to go. See you later.
Yeah, we're done. I think we're done, mate. I have to.
Close your eyes and I'll miss you. Tomorrow I'll miss you.
All right, thanks for joining us, guys. We'll be back soon.
Oh, yes. Congrats to Melbourne, too,
Oh,
winning the grand final.
There's no trivia this week, too.
No trivia this week.
No trivia this week.
Possibly on the following week. First time I've tuned in on a Tuesday night. Good stuff. Thanks. See you, Maxie.
Sure. See you guys. Have a good night.
Good night, Australia.
Bye.
Oh my God, my dolphin light's so bright in my eyes. I just can't believe it. We should remix this song.
Yeah. Go on, Reed.
Doof, 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 doof.
Go away.
Yeah.